When I arrived, I could have guessed that I would have heard exchanges as to mini stadia. And I want to say that government must not approach the problem of the youth or the problems of youth in this country as if mini stadia now represent the solution to that crisis that is occurring in the lives of that part of the population we call the youth. We come to today's debate on youth at a time of a different kind of death. The death of ambition, the death of aspiration among young people in this country. Your Honor, you are not unaware that we have, in Barbados, become aware of the unprecedented number of suicides among young people, and it is a social phenomenon, I beg your pardon, it's a social phenomenon that must not escape the attention of this country, and it must not escape the attention of the leaders of this country, and it certainly must not escape the attention of this ministry. Together with the tragic high incidence of suicide among young people is the tragic high incidence of emigration from Barbados. We are educating our young people. We are training our young people, our aspirational young people, up to the stage of tertiary education. Some of them going to jobs. Some of them, unfortunately, do not find jobs. And many of them now believe that their only hope exists in the verdant fields of Canada, particularly the whole of North America, England, and Europe, and even in some of the other countries of the Caribbean. And emigration, the flight of human capital, the brain drain, as we call it, is a crisis that is afflicting the lives of young people in this country. And we must ask the question, where is government's leadership in response to these crises that afflict the lives of young people? What has been government's participation in this age of suicidal death, in this age of the tragic flight of human capital away from this country, this loss of confidence, this loss of hope in the country that we told them is theirs? What has been government's response? What has been government's participation? Those of my generation can claim that we came up in a Barbados in which we were reasonably well protected by our public institutions, by our institutions of authority, the government, the church, the school. All of our institutions of authority tended to raise us in an environment in which we were told that moral substance was good substance. I regret to say to you, Your Honor, that this country has lost its moral compass under the charge of this government. I regret to say to you, Your Honor, that this country seems to have lost its moral substance under the leadership of this government. I regret to say that. But since I've committed myself to telling the truth in here and elsewhere, I have to say that. What has been government's response? In a time when even the church is treated as an irrelevant institution. What is this government's most popular or most frequent response to the problem of that crisis among the youth? And one of the strategies I've noticed in the government is that of placing its own popularity above principle. Principle and truth are often hard roads to walk and to travel, but somehow the government believes that there's some easy road to travel and that they must meet the problems of young people only with revelry, give them effect, make that the ultimate social activity of young people, give them effect, appease their anger, appease their discontent, appease their disaffection with all that is happening around them. Give them effect. And that attitude of government is contributing to the moral drift that we are experiencing in this country at many levels. And I accuse this government of being the sponsor of that moral drift that is afflicting national life in this country and certainly afflicting the lives of young people in this country. One philosopher describes it not only as a moral drift, but a spiritual blackout. The effect is short-term. The effect is temporal. It solves no long-term problem. How do we engage our people, our young people morally? How do we fill their lives with substance? I could pause and respect the work that is intended to be done by any ministry that dedicates and devotes its time to uplifting the lives of young people. But in spite of the work that a ministry may intend so to do at higher levels in this country, we have people who really ought to know better ascending platforms of revelry and joining with those who say that they don't give a whatever. The word is not to be repeated in here nor elsewhere, but that is evidence of the lack of leadership of young people in this country. When those who ought to know better engage themselves in revelry, not only for the sake of their own popularity, but as a means of accompanying the descent, the moral descent, the spiritual blackout that now visits the lives of young people in this country. And the anatomy of power is that might is always right. That whatever a government does, a government believes that because it has power, that it is justified. Power does not justify wrongdoing. Power does not justify moral decadence. Power does not justify spiritual blackout that is afflicting the lives of young people of this country. We need a moral compass. This country needs a moral compass. Minister, let this not reflect upon the work that you nobly intend to do, but in higher places, right is not being done by the young people of this country. And it seems to me as if government is remaining oblivious to the plight, not only of tragic young suicide, but government in its intoxication with power is remaining oblivious. They haven't mentioned the flight of young human capital in droves to Canada. They haven't mentioned it. We have a responsibility in opposition to mention it and to remind this country that all is not well. There are some constitutions in the Western Hemisphere that speak of the ideal of freedom and democracy and justice, and in some
Yeah, people. Yeah, this is the first time in a long time I post, right? Peace, prosperity, prudence, guidance, wisdom, and understanding. Prayer for everybody out there. I hear so up on the hustle right now. That's doing my thing as I usually do. All praise to the Most High, yeah, for all blessings and prosperities that come and traverse through my life. But right now, again, overbearing on people's. It's like basically every other week I hear about youths getting gone down. If you look in the papers, none of these young men ain't past the age of 35. You feel me? And it is ridiculous. Youths need an outlet, man. The cost of living already killing me. The price of food already killing me. The high, as I could put it, the high way of living that we dealing with basically killing me. We need to do something serious about this situation because it's not getting any better. And I don't know who I got. Senator Tmws, Uncle Kirk, Auntie Santia. When I need to take a real serious look at these youths, man. These youths way bad. They ain't got no outlet. They ain't know what else to do with themselves. When I already setting up the youths to fail. What she say? When they left secondary school and they got to apply for a job, you gotta got some form of work experience. Not for the youths getting kicked out of school because they're acting out because of things that are going on within the household, within the community, within the environment that they're growing up in. So basically, we setting up the youths to fail. Find something that can apply a little, how we can say, alleviation to the youths. You feel me? Because we never see a Barbados like this. I am in my 30s and I can say that for a fact I have never seen a Barbados like this. Never ever in all of my life seen a Barbados like this. 2019 should have wake up all of the people. 2019 when it was a murder day for the first 3 months a year and nobody ain't wake up yet. Try and wake up your Barbados, yeah. It game dreader. F when they ain't hearing, when they gonna feel, you know. F when it is not hearing, when they gonna feel, you know. And they sad to say, right? Deuteronomy taught us that this is a curse that put upon our people, you know. And we people like we ain't learning. When they read them in the Bible and when they adhering to the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High bring before when they, you know, when they talk about the 10 commandments. But they ain't 10 commandments. It's nothing more than 10. It's just that when they want to adhere to the 10 most important to one, and when they still ain't adhering to it. Raise up a child in the way it should go and it shall never depart. Huh? Parents provoke not their children to wrath. Ain't only honor their mother and their father. Parents provoke not their children to wrath. When they ain't learning, all they can say is Auntie Mia, Uncle Kirk, Auntie Santi. I beg you from the bottom of my heart. Find an outlet for these youths, man. I don't like to see this country. I even in that stage that I ready to left this country. Everybody ready to left this country because this country ain't doing nothing good for me. But getting me more and more scared every day to even left the house. You know what I'm saying? And then when we as the older generation go retaliate, no, it's here, no, we should know better and we should do this and we should do that. Is one of that got to help now, man? The hospitals are dry by the shade when hard rainfall. You can't go get no dental do because enough people can't afford to do certain things. Enough people can't afford to go to the doctors. Enough people can't afford to go and even go in the supermarket nowadays. Furthermore, to deal with certain situations that are more detrimental to everybody's health. Please, I don't care who hear it, who spread it. Please let somebody in a position of power hear my plea here.
He is an annual priest and social inclusion advocate, a social policy specialist, and former head commissioner to the UK, who led the Wind Worship Movement.
I'll be right here, too.
Ladies and gentlemen, our comrade, Reverend Dlp'S.
Master of Ceremonies, if you would allow me to simply affirm the protocols already recognized and to say to my comrades all, good evening. I am honored to have been asked to speak to you here this evening. It is with some trepidation because I thought I would have been closing out the batting on Sunday morning. But like if Joel Garner was asked to open instead of Desmond Haynes, here I am, and just allow me to do my best. But I believe that my speaking here tonight is the work of the Spirit, that the divine is trying to reinsert himself into the politics of Barbados, starting with the Democratic Labour Party. Before I get into my substantive address, which focuses on the essential characteristics of effective leaders, allow me first to speak to you as a comrade and a citizen, briefly yet frankly, on a few related matters. First, allow me to congratulate the Diocese of Barbados, my church, and I had hoped that Canon Burke was going to be here on its bicentenary. Its 200-year anniversary, which is a major milestone. And I pray that the Diocese of Barbados and all churches will continue to pastor meaningfully to our nation. But I want to use this opportunity as well to caution those across the political divide whose relationship with religion is akin to a mongoose and a fowl coop, not to use matters of faith opportunistically for political gain. Those with ears, let them hear. But more importantly, to my second brief point, the fabric of any democracy is fragile because it depends on the will of its citizens, us, to protect it. And if we become scared, when it becomes dangerous for us to defend our democracy, democracy can give way to autocracy, as recently happened in Bangladesh, but we are aware of the local cries against despotism. I thought, honestly, that social commentary in Barbados had died, because for the last 5 years, I could not hear any criticisms of the government of the day. But I was surprised and somewhat reassured when I heard the song Cross the Floor. So I asked a friend of mine who is a Calypsonian, and he explained their reticence. He said they are not willing to lose their pick to end up disqualified like Praise Academy of Dance. We have to be willing to defend our democracy. And I say that to come to what is our business. That an opposition party, the Democratic Labour Party, is the primary means by which democracies temper any regime's lust for political power or abuse of office. And we, as the opposition party, need to do better. For as a significant voice in this country once said, 30 love is not 100%. My father used to say to me, don't believe everything you hear. Don't trust everything you read. They make it seem like what is going on in the Democratic Labour Party is a crisis for democracy in Barbados. But we know different. We are sorting out our own business. And the reality is, when the Barbados Labour Party had two MPs suing each other in the court of law, that was not a threat to democracy. When the Barbados Labour Party expelled an MP and a former Prime Minister, somehow that was not a threat to democracy. When I was a boy at school, I used to like wrestling. I don't know if any of y'all here used to like it. They used to have Invader 1 and 2, Carlitos Colon, a brutish fella called Abdullah the Butcher. Y'all know that they had WrestleMania in Granny Adams' house, that MPs had each other neck lock off, body slam, one run up Worrell Street hollering for murder, and that was not seen to be a threat to democracy. We are dealing with a reality in the government that if the wrong person drops down, it is going to be civil war. And nobody says that is a threat to democracy. So I say to all of those out there, especially across the political divide, as the director said, neighbor, 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 let me alone. Mind your business, not we own. The Democratic Labour Party has not just been a beacon of democracy in this country, but the major instrument of social transformation. Because the reality is, political democracy is meaningless unless it is rooted in principles of liberty, equality, and fraternity, and accompanied by meaningful change to improve the lives of ordinary people. And it was often said that the Right Excellent Era Walton Barrow found Barbados a collection of villages and transformed us into a proud nation. As somebody said earlier, a nation where success no longer was to be determined by the color of one's skin, but by the depth of one's capacity and the strength of one's character. Matter day done. So in honoring this tradition of excellence, I urge anyone in our beloved party who may have a myopic view of history or this institution to refocus from the narrow confines of George Street and revision yourself as the crucial partner in Barbados' future as the DLP was ordained to be. I appreciate that some people feel uncertain after the last two election outcomes and also the internal disputes. But as Winston Churchill opined, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And I like to emphasize in my pastoral work, when people in relationships are under pressure, recovery often starts at the darkest moment. And Romans 5 tells us to rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope, and hope does not put us to shame because God's love has been poured out into our hearts. So the thing about failure, as they call it, is not the falling down, it is the staying down. So as my speakers before said, it is time for us to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and move forward, onward, and upward. Our conference chairman alluded to it. Next year, our beloved party turns 70. Our Platinum Jubilee, which is a momentous occasion. 70 is a sacred number. It is made up of two perfect numbers, 7 representing perfection and 10 representing completion. So we are called to look ahead and to use this milestone to refine our vision and mission, reminding people who we are, what we stand for, and most importantly, where we are going. You know, democracy is not a spectator sport. It is a participatory event, so it has to be all hands on deck. And so we need to get our leadership intact. We need to get our candidates in place. We need to get our messaging coordinated to let the people of Barbados know we are ready to be the next government. And so my final introductory point is this. I know a lot of y'all go to church regular. Matthew 12:25 and Mark 3:25 make the same point. A house divided cannot stand. A house divided cannot stand. We are called to be a single body, and not just in faith. As we are told in the Bible, if one member suffers, all suffer with him. So when we fail as a political institution, the entire nation suffers because there is no one else out there to safeguard their interests. So instead of fighting amongst ourselves, we need to prepare for battle on behalf of the people of Barbados. So we need to move forward from here onto a path where sorrow that some are experiencing now is transformed into joy. And that healing, which takes courage, calls us now of necessity to dig deep within ourselves and find the resolve that is needed in order to move this party forward on behalf of the people of Barbados. We don't need to get into who did what, why, and when, but let us recognize that mistakes were made on all sides because the air is human, and as a consequence, we all fall short of the glory. And noting the pattern of the prodigal, rebellion, ruin, repentance, reconciliation, and restoration, let us seek to forgive past wrongs as a crucial step to reconciliation and restore our role, the role of this party as a builder of Barbados. Sorry, that was just a warm-up. Alongside the great hymns, There is nothing that stirs my soul like our national anthem. As a person of faith, I am reassured by the fact that we have written, "The Lord has been the people's guide for the past 300 years. With him still on the people's side, we have no doubts or fears." And what abundant blessings the Creator has bestowed on us for our faithfulness, the peace and stability through our history, great forebearers and outstanding leaders, particularly Errol Barrow, from whom we inherited transformational social policies like free education and healthcare, national insurance, and unsurpassed economic strategies like tourism and international financial services. But the abundance of those blessings isn't simply for us to live in individual comfort. It is his provision to us to help each other, and God entrusts us and our leaders with his favor, not to build a kingdom for ourselves on earth, but to inaugurate his kingdom, a kingdom of godly and brotherly love. There are times, I know, in many people's lives, especially during a time of crisis, when people feel abandoned by God. But often I have found it is that they have abandoned our one true God. That too many people today turn to worship the false gods of power and money and pleasure and fame and individualism and materialism. And while these pursuits result in satisfaction in the short term, they ultimately put our soul and the soul of our nation in peril. Because as we know, one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Consider where we are. Consider where we are as a country. The national insurance scheme, the people's financial safety net, was scalped. People talk about a haircut. That was a scalping. It is a scalping because it is now deemed to be insolvent, thereby robbing the people of Barbados of the security they invested in their old age. And people walk about talking about this government cares. The incompetence in education is denying our children the opportunities for social mobility that Barrow envisioned. They have not just traumatized the students of Springer Memorial School, they have terrorized the entire school system. And they talk about this government cares. Crime and violence, as prophesied by our late leader David Thompson, is now the order of the day due to eroding core values and a failure by this regime to keep illicit activities and actors out of politics. Those responsible for leading our young people astray need to be prosecuted, not invited to state functions. And they say this government cares. Due to a lack of confidence in the healthcare, people tell me now they go for medical treatment with the credit card in one hand and the Bible in the next, because they don't know if the treatment can cost them all their savings or cost them their life. And this government says it cares. Our failings in tourism, our primary sector, is because some of the least capable people have been put in charge of it. In the last 5 years, our neighbors who are latecomers to tourism have been outperforming Barbados in leaps and bounds. And this government says it cares. This government, this motley crew does not care. It scares. It scares because the legacy of Errol Barrow is being systematically dismantled, starting with independence. They tried to get rid of Independence Day, talking about Republic Day. This is their agenda. And what is more tragic is that the people of Barbados feel they have no choice. They have to accept whatever is vomited up to them because we are not doing our job. And for all of y'all who've been listening to the DNC in Chicago this week, to quote Michelle Obama, hope needs to make a comeback. We need to bring Barbados back to the cusp of a brighter day, a chance to vanquish the demons of fear and division that permeate our nation out of the government. So I want to talk about, as we focus on the theme of our conference, on rebuilding and embracing and empowering, I want to talk about what it means to be a true and able leader. In Exodus chapter 18, we are told that the first institution of government was about Moses exercising all executive power by himself. And as you could imagine, he was overwhelmed. But then we are told his father-in-law Jethro comes to visit, and he advises Moses to appoint people to help bear the burden with him. And he makes these recommendations of the characteristics of a leader. He says, find individuals amongst the people who are able, who fear God, who are trustworthy, and who hate covetousness or dishonest gain. And complying with that divine imperative, Moses went out to the people and told them to find leaders. I know some of y'all didn't realize that democracy was divinely ordained. Moses told the people, get leaders, and if they have these characteristics, he will confirm them as their leaders. So what are we looking for? Leaders who are able. Ambition notwithstanding, not everyone has the competency to be an effective leader. And that is nobody's fault. God bestows on us different gifts, different talents and abilities. And we have to discern what are those talents and gifts he has given to us. An able leader is someone who possesses an understanding of the role and function of government. Someone who understands the rights of citizens and the importance of civil liberty. They have to have a passion for service, an understanding of the people they serve, and readily engage and guide the citizenry. Able leaders need to be persons of courage who will not shrink into despondency at the sight of difficulties or desert their duty at the approach of danger. Further, we are told that able leaders should be capable of enduring the burden of government, which is not easy and can easily fatigue the mind, body, and spirit, as many of those here who have served at the highest level will know. They also have to avoid being corrupted by pleasures or greed or gluttony, because government is a great burden of weight, and therefore weak and unworthy people will not be fit to lead. And so we must find people who are able. And then we are told, find leaders who fear God. And the understanding of this is that the fear of God is not intended to be a servile, superstitious dread of some arbitrary or cruel dictator, those we have amongst us, but rather it is reverence to a creator who is a lover of holiness and a hater of vice. And it's important to understand that virtue is a necessary characteristic of a good leader. Because an ungodly leader who has a sense of honor or natural benevolence can be virtuous, but there is a challenge. Think about this. Suppose you have an ungodly leader who is in a situation where their unpopularity or hardship will be the certain consequence of them acting virtuously. Can we expect them that they will adhere to their sense of duty? Are they willing to sacrifice everything dear in the cause of virtue when there is no expectation of earthly reward? And as we are expected to love ourselves and all of us wish to be happy, why should we expect someone to go against their nature if they have no faith and therefore no expectation that God is going to reward their virtue? It is easy to try to find a shortcut around suffering and misery because this will be acting in their self-interest, which is often too powerful to be ignored. Virtue is necessary to help us stay on the straight and narrow, to do not what is popular, not what is easy, but what is necessary and called on by God to serve Him in righteousness and serve the people of this country faithfully. So we must find leaders who fear God. And then we are told to find leaders who are trustworthy. And trustworthy means free from deceit or hypocrisy, guile or falsehood. And trustworthy leaders are individuals who will not use flattery or cajoling, falsehood or slander to get into positions of authority. They will not promise to anyone what they have reason to think they cannot or do not intend to perform. You see, this is important because in any oath of office, leaders bind themselves to faithfully discharge their duty. And a trustworthy person pays sacred regard to this pledge. And they are not content with receiving honors or emoluments of office when neglecting the duties of it. We need to have persons of trust. And although Machiavelli dictates different actions, what we want to do is secure a future not just for ourselves, not just for our political expediency, but that which is in the interest of the people of Barbados and consistent with the values of this party. And finally, we are told to find leaders who hate covetousness, which is, as you know, the excess desire for riches, which people, if they have it, will pursue by unlawful, immoral, or unethical means. And this aversion to covetousness for our political leaders is crucial to avoid what is a primary source of corruption. Timothy tells you, those who want to be rich fall into temptation and are trapped by many senseless and harmful desires that plunge people into destruction and perdition. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And the reality is, much of the oppression, fraud, and violence that takes place around us can be attributed to covetousness. People wanting to get something fast, large, and as easy as possible. But we need to have leaders who avoid that in their public lives so that they are not willing to accept bribes or put their office on sale or on hire purchase to the highest bidder. We need people who will hate dishonest gain. So I'm going to conclude because it's long and I know we want to get on. We the people cannot uphold democracy or secure good government or guarantee the public well-being if we disregard the characters of those we appoint. A dunce or a joker, an extravagant or greedy person will not make a good leader just because they are elected by the people. To make right use of the democratic process, due attention must be paid by us in the ability and the moral character of those who present themselves to us. And Errol Barrow's investment in education was predicated on his understanding that democracy cannot succeed unless those who choose can choose wisely. And so the real safeguard for democracy is education. So we hear Jethro's advice to finding leaders who are able, fear God, trustworthy, and hate covetousness is important to us in Barbados because we see that our country is being consumed by hedonistic diversions, showy luxury, wanton extravagances, and all kinds of vanities. And this bodes ill both for the public good and the national well-being. And so we need now to work as a party to hold on to our core values, to ignore or step beyond the false gods that our world worships today. Power and money and pleasure and fame and ego and pride. And although they are profoundly influential, we are called to love God and country first and foremost, and turn our backs on the false gods and give our devotion to a God who integrates the whole of life, to a God in whom we live and move and in whom we have our being. We are called to give our fidelity, our fealty to a God who has been our help in ages past and our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast and our eternal home. My brothers and sisters, my comrades, may God continue to bless Barbados, to guide and strengthen this institution so that we can be His servant and serve our sisters and brothers with honesty and integrity. I thank you.
Good afternoon, media, ladies and gentlemen, Barbadians here and in the diaspora. Welcome to this media conference. Sitting here with us are a number of persons, and I want to say to you, we are not down-spirited, neither are we daunted. During the course of this conference, you may even see some of us smile. We are not unhappy. Sometimes things happen for a reason. Life can be difficult, but there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. They say that nothing that is good comes easy. And the events here today prove that what will come to us, this party, in the fullness of time, will be good. but today proves that it will not come easy. I repeat, we are not down-spirited, neither are we daunted. Just let me introduce you to the members of the High Table. Mr. Pedro Shepherd to my left, Acting General Secretary. Ms. Felicia Dujon, Vice President of the party and a member of the General Council. To my immediate left, Mr. Andre Worrell, Acting President. To my immediate right, Ms. Shaquani Hunt, and you will hear tomorrow that she will be one of the party's spokespersons on the matter of youth affairs. To her immediate right, Senator Ryan Walters, and to his right, Attorney at Law Kenneth Best, member of the General Council, Attorney at Law, and Kenny has been extremely active in giving advice on every occasion that we've had a legal matter. And you all know that we've had several legal matters confronting us, several interpretations of the Constitution, which we're not here to debate this afternoon. We're here to indicate to the public what transpired here today. And at the far right of the table, Mr. Quincy Jones, who is conference committee chairperson. Now, you would have heard a report going out on the media earlier today indicating that the expelled president and general secretary were reinstated. That is absolutely not true. And I am not here to criticize journalism and the content of journalism. But if the media house had double-checked with us who legitimately held and are holding this conference, they would have discovered the circumstances that led to that false declaration, and they would have understood the circumstances which occurred here today. I am not going to, at length, say to you what happened here today, but I'm going to give a summary. And the brief summary is that when this conference started, it started under the chairmanship, the valid and legitimate chairmanship of President Acting Mr. Andre Worrell, and he was assisted by the General Secretary, as always is the case, Mr. Pedro Shepherd, and at that high table was Mr. Quincy Jones. I want to say to the public that as soon as and Mr. Quincy Jones was invited to read the standing orders of the conference, as is the normal case. Before Mr. Jones could, a member of the party stood up and said that she was moving a motion for Mr. Walter Maloney to chair the annual conference. Thereafter, there was bedlam. She claimed to have had somebody seconding the motion, and we saw the strangest thing, singing and dancing and chanting and singing. And we instructed members who were not party to that commotion to remain seated and to comport themselves with decorum and decency. And that was the case. While what we call a renegade group invaded the sanctity and the quiet of a conference. They invaded it. That's the term I use. It was invaded by these persons. Mr. Maloney himself came to the high table, grabbed the microphone, Messrs. Worrell and Shepherd were advised, and I think they acted wisely and with decency, not to join in any commotion. And they did something, whatever they did. That group, you will probably ask me how many they numbered later. I am not sure of the number, but I understand that they then left the room. Some of them left the room, as they are wont to do, proceeded to disclose this media release that Messrs. Yearwood expelled and black expelled were reinstated. And our phones blew up. Members of the public who were not present here today were baffled. They wanted to know what is happening. They expected this conference that started last night without any disruption. They expected us to have a smooth event today. I regret to report that we did not have a smooth event today. I regret to report that this group, and I call it a renegade group, came in and disrupted the conference. And our only recourse, whenever Mr. Worrell attempted to speak, and towards showing that we had found a solution to reach the people of Barbados, these renegade persons clearly understand that that is our trajectory, and they wish to deviate or remove this party from that trajectory of unity and of strength. The people of Barbados want it. The people of Barbados want a Democratic Labour Party that is united and strong. We were on that trajectory up to this morning. I told you we are not daunted, we are not
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, let me know that you can hear me. I'm on my phone because my laptop just stopped working, and I'm here trying to get it to charge, and it is not happening. Can anybody hear me? Okay. All right. You can hear me. So if you look, this is my laptop. You see my laptop right there? Can you see it? The screen is black. All right. So I'm trying to it's not it for some reason the charger is not it's not coming on. The light isn't on. Hi guys, how are you doing? Every day it's quite an event, every single day. So sorry. That you cannot hear me. I was off for so long. I did promise. If I promise you I'm coming on, I'm going to come on. So I was all ready to come on, but I was I was early, and all the drama that happened. So I started to play some of the some of the footage and some of the press conferences and just what happened last night, etc. Okay. So please forgive me, but the laptop isn't working. I'm here on my phone because once I promise my people, I'm going to come on, right? And what you see on the screen there is so important. Yes, it's an interesting turn of events that has occurred, and one that I think that everybody should have expected that there was going to be a fight, because they did say that. I know that a lot of those who supported Mr. Thorne, weren't there at that time, and part of the reason is the threats that were sent out. I know that there were some people who were very scared to go down there, because people would tell me, Marcia, don't go down there, because threats were given out up to last week. Talking about bodies, that the bodies will be all over the place. That's what they said, and that it would be a bloodshed. And so there were people who were scared of going down there because of what was said by those who wanted back their positions, and those who were part of the people who were part of this group that disrupted the meeting today. I don't know that part of the Constitution. I'm not part of the DLP, so there's nothing I can say about the Constitution and whether who is right and who is wrong. And I don't know anything of that sort. What I do know is that a lot of people did not go to George Street today because of the threats that were given by that group that invaded the annual conference. There was a lot of threats that were given out, and which I'm hoping that they are taking those threats to the police. And so a lot of people did not want to they were scared, and so they did not come out. And I think at this stage, we've heard. I was trying to play for you the press conference, but you would have heard most of the press conference where um, Mr. Thorne is saying what they're saying, that they're reinstated. It's not so. But then there is, we see Steve Blackett giving a press conference. We see Ronnie Yearwood giving a press conference. So what is it? What is it? What is it? What is really going on? I'm still trying to see if my laptop is going to come on, guys. I have no idea why this is doing that this today. None whatsoever. But look, it is still black. You see it? Laptop is still black. Okay. So it's not for not wanting to come on. I'm all dressed to come on, and was sitting here. So yeah, but what I will say is that we will have to let the time play out to see what is what. In the meantime, who suffers? Yeah, who suffers? It's the people of Barbados, and because can you really, Barbadians, can you really, go through another term of this government? I think that is a question that Barbadians need to ask. There are people who are rejoicing today, and they're Barbadians, so they're probably very very happy with just the way how things are going in the country. Probably the things to them everything is going great. Well, tomorrow evening at 3 p.m., August 24th, I would encourage everybody to go down to the George Street Auditorium tomorrow at 3 p.m., as Mr. Thorne is going to be addressing the nation from George Street Auditorium. Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you, Nicholas. And I can't, let me see if there's a way I can actually get that change on the phone. I've never done it on the phone before, but I'm going to try to get it changed on the phone. Thank you, Nicholas. So it is tomorrow, the 25th. Okay, so that's the 25th. All right, so that's the 25th that it is. I've never really gone, done, I don't think I've done one of my lives on a phone before. Yes, so that's the correct date now. Sunday, tomorrow Sunday, right? So okay, I'm figuring out how to do it. I am think no. Yes, so okay, so it's tomorrow, Sunday the 25th. As I said, a lot of people were scared and did not want to go. I have some of the WhatsApp messages that were sent to sent to members and so on. And I don't know. I mean, if you should think that after you have scared people and tell them about bloodshed and have bullied your way by telling them, that there will be bloodshed and bodies will be all over the place, you think that people are going to allow you to lead them after that? Do you really think that? So, though you might have, you said you're back into you're reinstated after you have threatened people in no uncertain terms. You think that people are going to have the confidence to in you to be a leader? The very nasty voice notes and messages that you've sent to people, do you really think that people are going to want you to be their leader? Do you really think so? I'm hoping that one of these nights I will read to you all of the voice notes and let you hear the voice notes and the messages that were WhatsApp messages, if those people allow me to, because I don't understand. I mean, what how you would be able to lead anybody with that kind of behavior that you have displayed. How could you lead after behaving the way that you behave? Well, I suspect, there will always be people to be led and people who will follow, for sure. Will people have confidence in that party? So, you won and you are, well, so you're saying you won, but I guess time will tell. I'm not sure what the Constitution says. I'm not in a position to say anything on that, but just to say that I know a lot of people were scared away today because of the threats to their lives that they would have received, as a group of people. And a lot of people were just scared. Yeah. And so, all the behind the scenes meetings that they have had with, with the other parties, with the other party. Yeah. Yeah. All of the agreements, all of the arrangements, they need to, it's quite interesting. Will people be able to trust this group of people? Will it be that they continually believe that they are connected with the BLP? Because that is the belief. Actually, the belief is that they are being used by the BLP to destroy the party. Is that the case? And will people shake that belief? Will people shake that belief? Will they allow them to lead them? Well, it's yet to be seen. It is the only people that are going to, it's us, it's the electorate who, well, they're not given a choice, because the third parties that exist, they are not doing anything. They don't even speak on behalf of the people. At least Mr. Thorne is standing up and speaking on behalf of the people. But these, they don't speak. They don't speak. The third parties don't come out and speak up on behalf of the people. Yes, Barbados Sovereignty Party, they went and they took the government to court, for those who did not vote, were not allowed to vote. But generally speaking, do you hear? Did you hear the? When last have you heard a third party really speaking up on behalf of the people of this country? Huh? When last? However, when you think about this, the relationship with some of these people and the Barbados Labour Party is very, very strong. That's the truth. The relationship, if a member of the Barbados Labour Party has given your wife, because it was said in Parliament, so I can repeat it. It was said by Jerome Walcott in Parliament. So if your wife is given a job, right, by the by a member of the Barbados Labour Party, what is that? How could you lead? How could anybody believe that you could really lead? That you could really lead them? Think about it. You don't think that people are going to think that, but that person can't be for real, because if the job that you have, right? If the job that you have, sorry about that, I'm using my phone. I'm not at my desk. I'm trying to get some light in the house. So if the job that your own wife has, and if you go back and you look, all you have to do is to check the Parliament. Check what was said in Parliament by Jerome Walcott, and see whose wife, which of these people wife was given a job by the BLP government. Yeah, go and check. And you also ask the question, which of these persons has to report regularly, or who reports regularly to Jerome Walcott? Anybody ever, did you know that? How would you feel to be you're part of an opposing party, and you have people who are leading in the party and are reporting and are having weekly meetings with Jerome Walcott? And as I said in Parliament, Jerome Walcott talked about giving one of the leaders in there, his wife, a job. You would have confidence in that? Oh my goodness. I know personally I would not have any confidence in I can't have a confidence in that person. I can't. You also need to ask those leaders, I will so I'll answer your question, there. You also need to ask yourself, um, the question. And I'm just quoting things that were said in public, and the opposition leader spoke about this, in a public setting, where after he became opposition leader and he had decided on his two senators, according to the opposition leader, in a meeting, in a forum, that there were people there from the public. So I'm not saying anything that wasn't said in public. Everything I'm saying here said in public. Anything else, I will ask a question, right? So the thing is this: why was the leader of the opposition called to a meeting by some very wealthy people in Barbados to say to him, how much money they can give to the party if he would make Ronnie Yearwood a senator? Why would something like that happen? And Mr. Thorne's account of it, where I was at a meeting there. And Thorne's account of what happened, he said, based on his account, that he told them, absolutely not, this party is not for sale. And he said he would rather go and pick up $2 and $1, from people, rather than to take this lump sum of money where someone would hold the party ransom. And your eyes would open wide when you hear who were the people in that room. Sky Brown, you don't have to believe it, but it is what happened there. My dear, I don't believe that Stoops. That's okay. You see, because we want to believe what we want to believe. Yes, money was offered so that for Ronnie Yearwood to be a senator. Money was offered. Yeah, it is a fact. It is a fact, sir or ma'am, whoever you are. But you all don't want to hear, you don't want the truth. You want to believe what you want to believe. Money was offered if that man would become a senator. And this all, you have to understand that all of this started. How must I trust somebody to lead when this whole thing started over a Senate seat? What is this fuss really all about? A Senate seat? Come on, think about it. It's a Senate seat. Don't believe me? Go back and look at the Sunday after Ralph Thorne cross. Go back, check the date. Find the Sunday after Ralph Thorne cross and check on the DLP YouTube page. Go back in February. If somebody could give me that date, please. In February, after Ralph Thorne crossed. Okay? Go and look at the date. Go and look at the YouTube page where there was a meeting in St. John. Okay? A meeting in St. John, and you would hear Mr. Yearwood ecstatic that Mr. Thorne had crossed. Why would he? He was so happy that Mr. Thorne had crossed. Right? And I didn't just hear it from Mr. Thorne, Sky Brown, just so you know. Yeah? I didn't just hear it from Mr. Thorne. I didn't just hear that story from Mr. Thorne, please. This is over a Senate seat, I tell you, because there was joy, the people were joyful. Ronnie was ecstatic when he heard Mr. Thorne, like anybody else would, right? Anybody else would. They were, he was ecstatic when Mr. Thorne crossed. And all of the DLP was ecstatic when Mr. Thorne crossed. Everybody. He was, because he said it at that meeting. He was ecstatic. What is the reason? What is the reason? How could he have been so happy and they were so thrilled that they won? And the reason that he would say he's won, because he was all in the people's DM trying to get them to cross. As far as wasn't he the one encouraging him to cross? I'm asking the question. Was he the one that was he one of those encouraging him to cross? So if he was one encouraging him to cross, why after he crossed it became a problem? Oh, could it be that my request is that I be a senator? I be a senator. And when you were not made a senator, then you decided you're going to mash up this whole thing. Could that be the reason? What could switch? Weeks later, it's a problem. Yeah. So, what is it that you really wanted? Was it that the people would have a voice in Parliament? We would now have someone in the opposition in Parliament? Or it is that you wanted to have power? You wanted more power. You wanted more popularity. You wanted more to be seen. You wanted to flex your muscle. I'm a senator. And you didn't get it. Could that have been it? That's interesting. Very interesting. Then everything went haywire. So the question is, the feeling, it's going to be tough because before Rob came over, my little research has told me that people were not happy with him, with the leadership, because they were concerned about the connection with the BLP party. There was that concern about the BLP party, the connection and the strong connections. You see? So that's something to think about, right? Yeah, I know you're in the backstage, but I don't know how to get you in, Theory. I'm on this thing and I'm not sure how to add you. I'm trying to add you. Okay, Theory, are you there? I don't know. I'm using my phone, so
Can you
Theory.
hear me? Can you hear me?
Pardon me, I'm on my phone and I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, he's gone. I don't know what happened there. Yeah. So, unless Terry has something to say, I am getting ready to go off now until I see you tomorrow. I am praying my laptop gets fixed by tomorrow, so that I can be on with you properly.
Can you see me?
Yeah, Terry, are you there?
Yeah, can you see me?
I can't hear you. Is anybody hearing Terry?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You
Can you
can
hear me?
hear me. Yeah, I mean it's tough to follow a leader that he would have to make it very clear that he's not he's not being controlled by the BLP, right? That has to be very, very clear. And and it is distasteful to make a fuss and to create decide you're going to just destroy everything because you're not getting what you want out of the situation. Instead of, I mean, the population was generally happy that they were getting representation in parliament, and you couldn't be happy for the people of Barbados. You were more concerned about the Senate seat. That is that's a little low, for me. And I don't rate that. I don't rate that. I want to see people who are going to stand up and say, listen, well, you know what, Barbados is happy. Go through the process and let's see what happens later on, and continue to serve. Were you there to serve the people or you just wanted the Senate seat? You didn't get the Senate seat, so you're going to mash it all up. Is that it? They created a. The other thing is that I don't know. Terry, are you there? Terry,
Yeah. Can
Terry,
you hear Marcia? Can you hear me?
I can't hear you. I don't know.
The
Are they
person
hearing
in
Terry?
the person in the chat said they can hear me.
Can you hear Terry?
Yes,
Somebody, let me know if you can hear Terry.
they said they can hear me. I don't know. I don't.
Can you let me know if you're hearing Terry? You can hear me. I can't hear you. So I don't know if the people.
Um, they say yes, they can hear me.
Oh, you can hear him too? Oh, you're hearing him. I'm not hearing him. I don't know why. Oh boy. This is, yes, guys, I am sorry about that. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Talk, Terry. Go ahead. I can't hear you.
Okay. So pretty much my thoughts on what happened today. I'm curious to know what's the future of the Democratic Labour Party. Um, with respect to that of democracy, we need to really reel in, and I say we need. I mean, people of Barbados need to encourage those that they know in the Democratic Labour Party to get their act together. I've seen and it's been reported that Ronnie Yearwood and Mr. Blackett has been put back into the party. I don't know what effects that will have on the governance, operation of the party, but in total, these past few months have been a cabal of a lot of different ups and downs, and let's see what happens. But as a young person, I don't want to use the word ashamed, but I am concerned, deeply concerned about the future of our democracy. And I hope that one day soon, and I mean one day soon, given that we're still in 2024, that we will see a change that will reflect, yes, the next elections, Democratic Labour Party will be a force to reckon with. I'm saying this not as a supporter of the Democratic Labour Party, but just a general analysis of it. I've also realized that
at the start of the meeting there was some disorder. I do not condone that behavior. To me, that does not help reinstate any sense of civility, of respect to the honor and memory of our great father, our Walton Barrow. Is a shame to his memory. So I hope persons will rectify that as well. Because it's okay to say, well, I support one person and then I support the other. But when we don't have civility, then that causes greater chaos. And then we can end up in situations like Haiti. Before Haiti got to the point it was today, if you go back through current events, they also had an issue with the political structure before the assassination of Jovenel Moise. So we don't want to get to that point. So I hope the Democratic Labour Party will get their act together sooner than later and let persons come together. I heard Marcia spoke about when the president, I should say, the current reinstated president, Ronnie Yearwood, he was ecstatic at the St. John meeting. I also watched that meeting. Yes, he was ecstatic. It was at the St. John Church, St. John Parish Church. It was him, it was Tyra, and then a young lady. Can't remember her name, but both of them are lawyers. And yes, he was actually ecstatic, and it seemed to me it seemed like he was going to get the Senate seat, but I don't know what happened there. But with respect to what Marcia said of the St. John meeting, that is true. The other information I'm not sure, but as a young person, to conclude, my perspective on the matter is that I hope the Democratic Labour Party will get it out together. In terms of the third parties, I am deeply concerned with them as well, because we cannot keep this culture of when it's election, people showing up. It has to stop. Our country is in a position 31, and if I am wrong with the terms of the number, deaths. That is deeply concerning. And I believe the third parties need to come and say, well, look, we're not going to wait till the election time. Let us put our feet to the ground and do some work, because we need to get out this culture of power at elections, and then after elections, whoever get power, you can't see them no more. So let's see what happens. As I said before, to conclude, in the part of my conclusion, I think that if the DLP doesn't get its act together, persons who already feel appalled by the behavior of the party will not vote for them in the next elections. In terms of myself, we will see, as I wish to be unbiased at this current moment, and we will see what happens there. But thank you, Marcy, for letting me speak, and I hope that everyone understands me clearly. Marcia, can you hear me? Can you see me? Can anyone hear and see me? I see in the chat you're saying you can hear and see me, but I can't see Marcia. I don't know what's happened. I don't have admin control, so I'm not sure. So, well, if I had admin control, I'd probably ask some questions. But anyone has any questions, they may well until Marcia comes back. I can see the chat, so just put it in the chat and I will answer it. And in terms of questions, I mean my perspective, or if you have any thoughts on what I said, good or bad, just let me know. So I'll wait on your questions. No, I can't see her text via my link at all, because I'm looking in the private chat. I'm also looking at my WhatsApp, and she hasn't sent me anything. So basically, I'm the only person in the room, it seems. But if you have any questions, just let me know.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, she's back. Wonderful.
Terry, can you hear me?
Yes, please. I can hear you. Can you hear me? Marcia, can you hear me? No, she.
Yes. Can you guys hear me? Vicky, Brian, can you hear me? I am sorry I have to. It's not the best. I'm here trying to switch over to somebody else's computer. Trying to make it work for us all. Okay, thank you, Easy D. Well, yes. Yes, theory. They're saying that in the press conference, both Pedro Gemot, the acting general secretary, and Mr. Thorne said that they were not reinstated. But what I mean, we have to also report that there was a press conference with Ronnie. Well, not a well, the press were there, and also Steve, and they were grateful that they were reinstated. They're very happy that they were reinstated. And if they were reinstated lawfully, then they should be, because that would be the Constitution, right? So if they were truly reinstated and it was done lawfully, then it should be upheld if they were done lawfully. The problem is Pedro Shepherd, not Gemot. I was looking down at your name, Pedro. Well, they should. They if they were, and if it is lawful. Okay, so you're not hearing Marcia? Somebody said I'm not hearing Marcia. Can you hear me, Pedro? Are you hearing me, Pedro? Gemot, not Shepherd. Jefferson Sobers, are you hearing me? Okay, Skylar says they're hearing me. So what I'm saying is that if it is a case where they were legitimately if they are by the Constitution, if they're legitimately reinstated by the Constitution, then it is what it is. It's the Constitution. If they're not, then that's something else.
Marcia, can you hear me?
So someone here is saying, how can someone make a motion for a vote when the conference has not started? So I don't know those kinds of rules of the the DLP. I just happened today. I have not done enough research to be able to comment on that. Just to say that the acting general secretary, yes, well, you see that here's the thing, Clayton Vaughn. If you were following, you would see that the first statement that came out, the Pedro Shepherd made a statement. If you check the Nation, Pedro Shepherd made a statement. And he said that the acting general secretary said, so go to the Nation and you will see that it's there in the Nation. Okay. So you can see. The thing is, we have to, yes, what we have to, as I said, those are the questions that we have to ask ourselves. Is it going to be easy to believe that? Are we going to really, really believe that this person whose wife is given a job by a senior member of the DLP is working on behalf of the DLP without any contradictions, without any conflict of interest? Or can we believe that? That's a shadow that is there, and that is, I'm not saying anything that the people aren't saying. It's what the people believe, and that is what created the problem from the time that that person was in leadership. There is that concern that the ties are too strong with the DLP to really represent the people. And so you would find people felt that there were issues that they needed to go harder on those issues, but that they refused to go, right? They refused to go harder on that issue. Oh, they refused. There are issues that they were supposed to stand up for, and they didn't. And people start to wonder: is it because they were, what was the reason? What was the reason? Is it because of the tight relationship with the BLP? Those are things that the president Ronnie here would have to assure the people of Barbados about, and then they need to tell the people who is this donor. Who is this secret donor? Somebody giving money in the dark? Is there someone giving a secret donor that used to give the money to the Mia Mottley administration and saying now that they're upset with the Mia Mottley administration and they are now giving that money to the party and to pay some of those same people in the party? Is it the seat and the money? You see what I mean? Is it the seat and the money? I'm telling you, the things that I don't know of a fact, I will ask it as a question. So there are some things that I know, right? So my question is I definitely know that the seat was the issue um running. That seat, it changed. His whole everything changed after the seat. He did not get the seat. And once he did not get the seat, that was it. It was done. Right?
Marcia dropped out. I guess I'll continue until she comes back. With respect to Mr. Yearwood, I would say this with respect. How to put this? I would say this as a young person. I am interested to know, is he focused on the power of the DLP or the needs of the people? I've realized that with respect to this fight, there's not been any person in between the groups who have been saying, look, let's put things aside. There are persons suffering in Barbados. It's all about, I must be this, I must be that. I have to have the presidency, I have to have the general secretary, secretaryship. If I use the incorrect term, just let me know. But it's a power grab. It's persons who are so concerned with control. But to me, the essence of politics, the true politics that has been lost for a while in this country, is that of people first. And if you don't put people first, power will always be a problem. And there is an individual from St. Martin, and I asked Marcy to invite him to the show sometime. But his name is Nigel. I can't remember his last name, but his name is Nigel. And he always says, and I heard the pastor, Dr. Ferdinand, spoke about it, when the righteous rule, and you can finish it. So we have a lot of persons who are deeply concerned with their power and not that of people. Now, to finish off before handing off back to Marcia.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Okay. It was basically, all right, so recap, guys. For Marcia to catch what I was saying. I was saying that I am interested to know if Mr. Yearwood is focused on the power of the DLP, his power in the DLP, or the needs of the people. We are living in a day and age where persons are deeply concerned with being president, being secretary, and I've not heard anyone on both sides, being unbiased, saying, look, let's put things aside. There are persons in the streets suffering. We need to get order and democracy back into this country. It's all about their power, them being against other people. And to me, that is concerning. And that's where a lot of persons are not really saying that they're saying that they're not interested in voting for them in the next elections. I'm still unbiased. I just hope that order can be reestablished. But you have a society and groups of persons who are concerned that because of this whole cabal and this whole fight, it's all about power. Persons want in this moment in time, Barbadians want a leader who cares about them. They want to return up the right honorable Errol Walton Barrow. Right? I've heard stories about him whereby my grandfather and my grandmother, they said person used to come to him and say, boss, Mr. Barrow, I have this problem, I have that problem, and you documented it in your docu-series, and he would help them. But we have not seen that kind of character in such a long time. Now, to conclude before handing back over to you, an elder spoke to me yesterday, and he said we need a leader, right, who can basically come and say, look, I'm at the beach. You see a roasting some berry fruit, I can have some. But I'm not seeing that from Ronnie Yearwood at this current moment. He's not come to you again, vibe with you using general terms type of person. It seems to me he's deeply concerned with his power. And if I had to vote, no, I would not vote for him because I want a leader like the Right Honorable Walton Barrow, our father, and that's my perspective.
Yeah, it's interesting hearing that from you. A young person. I remember when we had a fight. We were fighting concerning the children theory. When we had when the test was given, right? You remember the test, and we brought in Umar Johnson. Anybody out there remember? And this is when you begin to talk to people, sometimes they think you are making it up. But you see me, once I'm speaking and I know that I'm telling the truth, I'm going to speak. And I can tell you because this is what happened to me. I was when Ronnie when he started out, actually I really was trying to support him as a young person. Theory, I love young people. So I
Sure.
was trying to support him and so on and so on. And hi sensei herbalist, Umar. And I was trying to I was we were trying to help because the same way I'm trying to help Mr. Thorne, we were trying to help. We were trying to help him with videos. I'm gonna be honest and tell you the truth. We were trying to do editing for him. We were trying to give him ideas. We were helping. Guess where he and I fell out? We are bringing Dr. Umar in here to speak about the children and about the gender issue. The fact that they what started this thing and put those gender questions inside of the test. And you all can tell me, this is my experience, so tell me that I lied. And you know what happened? Instead of Ronnie deciding that he was going to join what we were doing on behalf of the children that got the sex test, right? 280 something questions. Instead of him saying, I want to join, you know what he did? He started to send me messages to discredit Dr. Umar Johnson and telling me why I need to cancel Umar. He was trying to get me to cancel Umar Johnson from coming to Barbados. That's the truth. And I have it still in my WhatsApp. I am telling you, I still have it in my WhatsApp. Cheryl, Pedro, there is the truth. I am telling you. Umar Johnson, an international speaker, Mr. Yearwood needs to tell us why he would be against him coming and started to lead a whole campaign, social media campaign against Dr. Umar coming to Barbados. And tried to tell me I need to cancel the man from coming. Yes. And I said to him, well, the people in the US are saying this about Dr. Umar. People are saying this. I said to him, but Ronnie, people are saying lots of different things about you. And I'm giving you a chance. And that's what I told him, Theory. And to this day, there is that thing because how dare you? You can tell me I'm raising my money to do my campaign. You don't come to help me. You don't say, Marcia, let me see what the DLP can do to help. Instead, you are trying, first of all, you are using social media to destroy what I'm doing on behalf of the children of this country that they gave that test to. That's why I say to you, we have to be careful of who these people are. You understand what I'm saying? Theory?
May I interject?
Yeah.
My grandmother always tells me, right, that you don't watch what a person says. Look at what they do. Right? If you want to know a person, don't focus on what they're saying. Look at their actions. And she's standing up right there next to me while I say this. Because to me, I'm not going to be too personal or opinionative, but I'm going to ask the Barbadians who are watching today and the persons who will watch later in the diaspora and also in the country, let's look at Mr. Yearwood, let's judge him not by his words, but his actions. And I will leave it at that.
Very well said, Theory. And I said to somebody today, they were talking about young people, and I said to Theory, I said this, you're one of the young people that I deal with, you're one of the more mature ones. And we, a lot of times we choose people based on how they speak, right? And what they have behind their names and so on and so forth. But we don't look at their maturity and their character. Maturity Theory would say to Mr. Yearwood, here is Mr. Thorne coming over, all right, which is really what he thought first because he was happy. He's coming over. Now the people of Barbados will have somebody in Parliament who will be able to speak up, on their behalf. Why can't that be what we're happy for? And even in his heart, if he wanted to get the Senate seat, right? Continue to work with Mr. Thorne and to serve. What is wrong with that? Before you can be a leader, you must first be a servant and a follower.
Correct, I agree, but to me it's like this, right? I'm not sure his exact age, but I'm pretty sure he's about 41, 42, 43, something like that.
I have no idea.
I'm sure he's in his 40s. If I research him, he's in his 40s. We have a situation that democracy is waning in this country, and if you're so concerned with the leadership, which to everybody it seems that way, why don't just take your time? That's why if you look at the 48 laws of power, right? There are rules in the 48 laws of power that state, now be patient, wait your turn. And this is me paraphrasing from my understanding. You need to be patient and wait your turn. Because I'm going to use Mia Motley as an example, right? Mia Motley, apologies for not to disrespect the Prime Minister. The Honorable Mia Motley, our Prime Minister, said that it took her a long time, 23 years she's been in public life. But in that time, she's been learning. She's been getting positions of power, then setbacks. She was under our great Prime Minister Owen after. She also mentioned at certain power speech that the Right Honorable Earl Walton Barrow used to come to her grandfather's house. So she was there sitting and listening to these gentlemen talking and learning. When she got her first constituency representative post, she was learning. So I said all this to say that, and you can look at the track record of or the political life of the Right Honorable Honorable Mia Motley. She has been going through a process of learning for a long period of time that led up to the prime ministership. Right? Agreed or disagree?
Yes, so she would have. I mean, remember that she was removed as the leader of the opposition. Remember that?
Yes.
She was ousted as the leader of the opposition.
I literally spoke about that like yesterday with my elder. So like it takes time, but we have a president in the DLP who is deeply concerned with his power. It's clear. Everyone can see it. Everyone is spoken to.
Everybody can see it. I tell you, you are so correct.
Not only that, what solidified the perspective on it is that you had disciplinary meetings and you did not show up to any.
Exactly.
What I just now said, my grandma always told me, listen, you can listen to what a person says, but watch what they do.
And the thing is that, to believe that the leader of the opposition would basically sell the seat is really what it was all about, and that's it's vulgar. It is awful to want to do something like that. You are really hungry for this power. You are. And so if this did not happen, they can come and they can refute it. But tell us who that person is. If we're going, let us know who are the donors, this great donor of the party that is sending money through the dark. Is there a donor? Tell us. Because that concerns us too, because we watch politics theory in the US. Whoever sponsors those parties, they own them, They own them, and they have to carry the voice of that person. So we need to know, tell us, are you getting the money you're getting? Is it from regular Barbadians? Where is the source of your money? The money that is paying one of you in there, one of them get $5,000 a month, one of them, for a position that is supposed to be a non-paying position. $5,000 they get. Who is paying that?
Hmm.
Do you understand? That's a serious thing. And that's why I say what you all might say. Some of the criticisms that people have of Mr. Thorne is that they say he's soft, right? That if it was them, they would have done this stronger, you need to be stronger and so on. But I think when you look at the situation, what you can say, what I see is somebody who is principled. I have not seen enough yet to say that he's soft. You understand, theory? What I see is somebody who is principled. It is a little frustrating sometimes, because sometimes you say, man, you wish he would take off the gloves, right? But he's measured,
Well,
right? He's measured, and that is important in leadership too.
well, Marcia, there's a story of the Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie, right? During one of the disturbance in his country at that time, one of his lords, and they used to be called Ras, he basically was saying, the Tigray nation, we are not going to be a part of the Ethiopian Empire anymore, and so on and so on. And a lot of his advisors like, well, Emperor, you need to do something about him. So 2 months passed, 3 months passed, 4 months passed, he did nothing. And then finally he said, you know what, I'm going to invite him to a grand dinner in his honor. He invited him and continued to lavish him in gifts. When he came, he only came with the gentleman that was against the emperor. He only came with 2 of his guards. His troops had to basically stay home. So after the feast happened, he went outside and asked his guards to basically find out what's going on with the men back home. When the guard rode to the region and he
Yeah.
rode back, he said there were no men at the garrison. And he was like, ho, ho, ho. What happened is that the emperor, while he was lavishing the gentleman, the Ras, he sent some of his own troops. I told him this: Haile Selassie is the emperor. We're going to love it. We're going to give you more gold. We're going to give you this and that. So in the meanwhile, it seemed like he was being weak, but he wasn't. He, instead of having warfare and bloodshed, he solved the problem by what? Being patient and understanding the people that he had. So I said that to say this about Mr. Thorne. It may seem as though persons reflect him as using the word weak, but we don't know what's in his mind. We don't know what's his strategy, so we have to wait and see.
Right. That's theory. I'm telling you, you are displaying much more maturity. I said this to your mentor, Lumumba. He knows. I told him that the maturity that I have seen in you, I have not, and you are not putting yourself out as a politician. And you're a second year student in university, and look at the level of maturity that you are displaying this evening, that you're able to look at Mr. Thorne's actions and realize what is going on. The man is a measured man. He's measured in his actions and his responses. Very measured. I remember when he had started first to spill all the beans, and it seemed like, probably somebody spoke to him and he held back and he didn't say much more. But, I decided to come on here. When I come on tonight, I'm going to start to speak what I know. Right? I will speak what I know. I think that is important, because I knowing the kind of principled person that Mr. Thorne is, he would not take that money. You know that, I would have been surprised if he took that money from that businessman. Yeah. I would have been surprised. So I know that he did not. I know he would not have taken it. And his comment is that, listen, he would rather to go to the people of Barbados and ask for $1 and $2, right, before he take that businessman money. And if he had taken the money, my guy would be a senator. And at that time theory, the other thing that was awful about it, and that was the first time I came on my show and really dealt with that issue. I don't know if anybody remember, it was a Sunday. It was a Sunday, and I came on, and people they didn't realize, they were saying, oh, you don't know anything, come out of it. No, I understood, and I knew that I was speaking fact. You know what they wanted Mr. Thorne to do, theory? They wanted Mr. Thorne to remove Ryan Walters as a senator. Okay? And to put him after Ryan Walters was already sworn in. They wanted him, and they put that, right? They put that as the reason. They put that as one of the requirements in order for Mr. Thorne to join the party, that he had to now remove Ryan Walters. That is awful thinking. That is wicked. That would crush. That would be awful from Ryan Walters. But no, but when you're power hungry, when all you want is power, you're not going to think about the feelings of anybody else, right? You're not going to think about that. And Mr. Thorne said, absolutely not. I will not do that to Ryan. I'm not doing that. Ryan remains a senator, right? Ryan remains a senator. And, all these people wanted Ronnie to be senator. Even the other senator that's there. When she was called to be a senator, you know what she said to Mr. Thorne? What is alleged that she said to Mr. Thorne? The allegation is that she said to Mr. Thorne, well, it's the two of us, it's Ronnie and I.
So I have a question.
Obviously, if Ronnie did not become a senator, all those who wanted Ronnie to be a senator would be upset. So now that would explain why that particular person is doing what they're doing.
Okay. So I have a question. My question to you, and also to anyone else who can answer it, is, since that I don't think it has been confirmed, but since Ronnie Hewitt and also Steve Blackett has been reinstated.
Hold a minute. Be careful of what you're saying.
Right.
They are saying that they're reinstated. So
right,
you have to watch your language there. Yeah.
That's why I initially said, basically, all right, so I'm going to put it back again. Allegedly reinstated, right? Says that they have been allegedly reinstated. What's going to happen to Mr. Thorne? Or if they are reinstated, what's going to happen to Mr. Thorne? That's the question I'm trying to ask.
That's a great question. I see Lumumba there, and I'm gonna let me just start. I don't know. I mean, if I were Mr. Thorne, I would not stay in a party with them. Those people you can't make. It's like, why would you? I would never be part of that. That would be they would see the back of me, because I would not. First of all, remember I told you, nobody can yet determine whether this guy is still connected to the DLP or not because of his relationships, right? He needs to tell the people does he really, how strong is his relationship with Jerome Walcott, and Jerome Walcott, is Jerome Walcott lying by saying he gave his wife a job? You see, all these things. So I wouldn't want to be, if I was Mr. Thorne, I wouldn't want to be in a party with somebody like that. And a party with Steve Blackett, who is threatening people, talking about bodies on the ground. He said bodies and bloodshed and so on. Facts. Why? I don't know. So to answer your question, I could only say what I would do. I would never be in the party, and they can rest assured, those, if they are in there, like you, theory, you said it, and I'm going to say, they would, if I'm voting for them, they would never, if I was voting for the Democratic Labour Party, if I was planning to, I would never do that. No, not with them leading it, for sure. Go ahead. Good evening, Lumumba. I was calling up your name.
Yeah, you could hear me? Good evening.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm here listening to you and Theory. what I have to say is what I really would like to say. I can't say, but it's a shame. It's a shame that two grown men, and I specifically dealing with Yearwood, Mr. Yearwood. You know, it showed you not about. He's clearly not about the people of Barbados.
No, it's
You could
not.
see the selfishness. You could see the I mean, he's not thinking about the people of Barbados. He's thinking about himself and the agenda that he wants to bring in. That's his focus. And it's sad that I think that sometimes, man, we got to stand up more firm. Don't let these threats that they're giving, talking about bloodshed. Blackett is a clown. He ain't bloodshed what? I mean, when I heard that, I laughed. I think, scaring people, using scare tactics. I mean, the more scariest people in there is Yearwood and Blackett. So I don't know how comes all of a sudden now they become gangsters. You then went from a politician to a gangster, and that ain't in your field. So I felt that the people should have had ignored him. The DLP, the people should have had ignored those threats and come out, cause he ain't gonna bust a grip. He or Yearwood ain't busting a grip. Trust me. We need strong leadership. And right now we are not seeing strong leadership. Aside from the brother, what was Mr. Thorne? I think he's very well reserved. I think he's, being careful of what he says. But the reality is, Thorne is not going to. Yearwood is not going to work with Thorne. If Thorne is not ready to do what Yearwood loves to do, he's not going to work with him. No, seriously. So that's going to always be a battle there.
I listen. One of the things, Lumumba, that we don't realize, and you said it on your show, but when one of the things that he did not, why he did not want Umar Johnson to come to Barbados is that he did not like the fact that Umar Johnson was saying that the little children should not be they should be left alone in terms of gender and not be taught all these gender stuff and to be transgender and that they can choose their gender and they have 30 or how many 40 something genders. Omar Johnson is against that, and he was upset. I'm telling Barbados the truth and theory. I can send you those WhatsApp messages. Lumumba knows that I'm telling the truth. Omar Johnson says, no, do not bring those kinds of things to the children. And he was very, very clear. He was not speaking against adults who wanted to choose a homosexual life. I'm going to speak straight. Umar Johnson says he's talking about children theory. And Mr. Yearwood, Ronnie Yearwood told me he did not want him to come here because of those views that he has. The people of Barbados need to understand who Ronnie Yearwood is. He told me, Marcia Weeks, that is one of the things that he has a problem with Dr. Umar coming to Barbados to talk about the gender.
And I have a problem. Yeah, and I have a problem with him coming to Barbados. Yearwood from England. With that philosophy that he bringing.
Careful. I can't put up my little thing on the screen so we can speak in code. But you
Huh?
understand what I say? I can't put up my disclaimer on here. So careful speaking in right?
Yeah. But no, it's clear. Listen, I saw a picture of this man, and he's supposed to be running for the Prime Minister of Barbados with in the mirror with no shirt on, looking like Daisy Dukes. I mean, come on. I mean, that was clear right there. That was clear. He sent the message to me right there what he's about. You know, when you see him, when he talks, the way he carry himself, you know what he is about.
But let me stop you there. You know, we are not. You know, people can make whatever choice they want to make. But what I'm
No,
saying,
I'm
when
not
it came
talking
out,
about the choices he made. I'm talking about him trying to impose himself on others. That's all I'm speaking. I'm not
okay,
speaking about he's a man and he does what he have to do. He's a man. But I'm talking about when you feel that it's right for you to impose your way of life on other people. That's what I have a problem with.
yeah, you know, I mean, what I'm saying is for me, what I'm saying is that I know for sure that he did not want Mr. Dr. Umar to come to Barbados, and
Right.
I still have the messages. I never
But I
got
didn't
rid of
want, as I said, I didn't want Yearwood to come to Barbados either. But
right.
he here. But he's
So
here.
for me, I could not understand where little children were being asked certain questions and so on. When Dr. Umar went through the questions, he decided he was going to come to Barbados, and he's coming to defend the children. And at no time did Ronnie come out and march with us. In fact, when Felicia Dujon wanted to march with us, if you remember, Lumumba,
Yeah.
he tried to
Yeah.
stop her. He stopped her from marching,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
He stopped.
Because
Listen,
May I say
listen, guys.
something?
Do you know that one of my plugs in here started to burn fire? You talk about spiritual warfare. You see, I got up. I smelling the fire. Let me call my son and plug out. I'm gonna turn off everything.
yeah. Wow.
John, come here, please. Something is burning. This is what we're talking about here. You see, that's why I tell you, it's not flesh and blood situation. My whole laptop not coming on. No, I'm smelling fire. Plug up. Yeah, plug that up and the back. Right. Yeah. I'm gonna go. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys, but I just have to make sure that I'm safe. I'm going outside. Yeah. But you know, I mean, listen, I'm a soldier, Lumumba.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let that stop me. You see what I mean? I'm
May I
gonna
say
speak
something?
my
Right.
truth, and I know what the truth is that they did not want. He did not want Umar Johnson to come in here to speak to black families, to tell them, to tell black families, be careful of that transgender education for your children because it's destroying America. That's the message the man was coming with, and he tried to stop the message from coming in.
Yeah.
At no point did he say um at no point did he say did he say that Marcel, let me come and help you, right? No point. I've invited him to the show. He would not come, folks. He would not come to the show, Theory. I've invited him. He would not come on. Yes, Theory, go ahead.
Great. I just wanted to say, based on what both of y'all said, who does he remind you of?
I don't know.
Study it.
But
I don't know. I don't know. Well, send it
They-
to me in the private chat before I can tell you if we can say it on here. But but we're telling the truth of what we know, Lumumba, what we know. And it is the truth that he did not want Dr. Umar Johnson to come to Barbados. and he has not supported any of the marches. He stopped Felicia Dujon from being part of the marches, and he would not come. He would not come. He did not want to be around the marches. But I heard that group, you believe, Lumumba, I heard that group was planning a march. I'm saying, how you going to plan a march for yourself, for power? When you had children being run down with machetes in here at Brigham Memorial, you had children being given a sex test in this country. You had people's pension, age increasing, all kinds of things happening. And at no point did you put your foot on that tar and come with us outside. But now you wanted to do a march. You see how these people are. It's all about themselves. Why would I ever?
Yeah,
You think I would ever go and vote for those people? Never, never.
well, I don't really vote, but if I did, I would not vote for Ronnie Yearwood. Never, never. I mean, he will be a disaster for Barbados, man.
But the thing about it too, right? The thing about it too, right, is that with respect to the marches, Chris Gibb was at the marches.
Yes, you're so right. Isn't that the DLP guy for the city?
No, he's not for city. He's for I don't know the constituency name, but it's out by basically Black Rock, that side. But he was at the marches. Chris Gibb was at the marches. So that speaks volumes.
I'm telling you. And this man refused to come to any march. He refused to come on the Marcia Week show. You know, the only time he called and wanted to come on the show after Ralph Thorne came on the show several times. He then called me at my house, asking me to put him on the show. But before that, he would not come on.
Yeah, but I was saying just now. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you, but I'm not, I'm just seeing it like a picture, like you're stuck.
Oh, I don't know. I just say what I have to say. I was basically trying to say it doesn't look like private chat, but it's nothing out of order. I'm just saying that basically, looking
Oh,
at
you
what
want me to check the privite chat? I see what you're saying. Okay, let me try and do that, and I won't put myself off, guys. I'm using the phone for this, and I got you exactly because he such clearly says he sounds like Mia Motley, and everybody. That's what people are saying, right?
Yeah.
Somebody sit there, them. Yeah, and we will continue. Listen, that's it. What's on the screen, Lewis Carl? Yeah. And as I said, people making a choice, whatever. And I don't know anybody. I don't have any information on people's personal lives and what they want to do with their personal lives. But I was surprised that Umar Johnson would have been somebody he doesn't want to come to Barbados. You know, there's no perfect speaker and no perfect person, but you a lot of times what you can do, somebody speaking, you can pick things out of what they're saying. You can find something good, and most of what Umar Johnson says is so good for the Black community and Black families. He's one of the few Black psychologists, and he's trained. He has all his certifications. So why can't we listen to him? And that is what it is. That is what it is. So they could go ahead if that's what they want to. If they want to run the party, they will see if Barbadians are going to, because he will have to explain to people, am I really part of the Motley, still part of the Motley government? Are some of my trips being paid for by the Motley government? Is the Prime Minister, these questions, is the Prime Minister paying for trips for some of the leaders of those leaders? Is she doing that? to look at those kinds of things. And as I said, people should not be discriminated against based on anything. I am just saying that, when it comes on to children, I was surprised that Dr. Umar would not be somebody that Ronnie wants to come to Barbados and try to dissuade me and try to get me to cancel him from coming to Barbados, would not let Felicia Dujon come to any of the marches. She came to the first couple and then she had to stop because her party leader would not allow her to come. One time she even came in disguise. So this is a kind of oppression, and it's very oppressive with people. Yeah, so they got a thing, and I'm not part of the party. I'm just telling you what I know, and I can tell you for a fact. They're saying tell you for a fact, right? Yeah. So yeah, but Lumumba, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Okay, I can hardly hear you though. I don't know if the others can.
You can't hear me?
I know what happened. Let me come out. Keep talking. Go ahead, Lumumba, and let me come out, and then
Yeah.
I
Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me better? Marcia, Theory. I don't know. Something isn't. I'm not getting any.
hi. Okay, we're all back now. Can we hear Lumumba?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. Marcy, your
Yeah. So
pause.
what's happening is that people are calling me on the phone, and so that is messing me up. Okay, Theory, you heard me say that. So you can just go ahead and you can talk about leadership or something, Theory. Let me come back. Go out and come back in, okay?
All right, no problem. No problem.
Because I can't hear you now. All right. So let me leave.
No problem. Um, so respect to the leadership. Um, so let's look at both scenarios. We're looking at Mr. Turn first. Um, his whole message and image and the presentation that he gives to Barbadians is that he wishes for Barbados to return to righteousness. That's first of all, the first scenario that could occur, right? Given that it's alleged that some of them were reinstated, they were not. That's alleged. Now, on the other hand, what is Mr. Yearwood's message? What does he want for Barbados? No, looking at it from a youth perspective, we just analyze a lot of stuff before Marcia and Lumumba left the stage. Well, he didn't come to the march about NIS. That's one. He didn't come to the march on the cybercrime bill. He didn't come to the march on the Child Protection Act. With respect to trying to think of some other stuff that didn't occur. Anyone could assist me, guide me, I appreciate it. But those are the three things that he didn't do. So what is his policy? What is his agenda? What is his manifesto? If he had to present a manifesto to the people today, we don't know. So that's something that we have to look at. But what we do know is that Marcia mentioned what happened to Mrs. Dujon. We also know that he didn't go to the disciplinary hearings. What else do we know? Anyone can offer me assistance to engage the show. Okay. So until then, I would just say, gathering all of this, we can look at it from something as very simple. It's a power-led initiative on his side. Mr. Thor also is seeking power as well. But the reason he's seeking power, based on what he said, is righteousness. Based on how he acts, is righteousness. So we have to look at it from that perspective. Now, given my own opinion, I would like to see whoever is in power come and, first of all, bring initiatives to, one, reduce the cost of living in Barbados. Reason being, persons are suffering. Another reason is that you will have persons being able to, if they buy something at $1, then they may be able to sell it at 3, gaining better profits compared to you're buying it at 3 and then having to sell it to the consumers at a $5 or $7, which is passing the expenses onto the consumer. Any economists in the chat who disagree with me, just let me know. So that's the kind of things I would like to see in the leadership speaking about on a consistent basis. In addition to this as well, I would like the leaders at any time, not necessarily looking at the mistakes of government, but galvanize the people on the issues of Barbados on a consistent basis, not on any political, or I should really be more specific, any power-driven agenda. Those are the kind of things I need to look at. We need persons who are centered about people. Now, listen, if I if I become the prime minister or I get in a ministerial position for BR as a DLP in the future, so be it. But that's not my first agenda. My first agenda is people first. When you cater to people, when you serve the people, then they'll be saying, you know what, this person genuinely cares about us. Because at the same time, we have ministers currently in the government. I'm speaking of the DLP, who are ministers, but they're not taking care of their constituencies. That's an opportunity for persons part of the potential 30 representatives of the DLP to galvanize on. Look, I'm here reasoning with you in your communities. I'm here trying to find out what are the issues. I'm here going to the business people to see what I can do in the community. Those are the kind of things that they must look at. But it's up to both leaders to decide what they're going to do, and we will see from there.
Yeah. Okay. Good evening again. I'm back. We're so informal today. So guys, well, let me see if we can read some of the comments. Anything else you want to say, Lumumba?
No, I'm just listening. Theory is doing a good job.
Yeah. You
You can
know,
hear me?
yes, yes. Theory is seeing what not to do. So, what people are asking, what do they do now? Well, according to the General Secretary, the acting General Secretary, um, Pedro Shepherd, and the leader of the opposition, they're saying that they were not reinstated, that they're still, expelled from the party. The others are saying that they are reinstated. That's what they're saying, and they're rejoicing and celebrating and so on. So the big question is, people are asking, what do we do now? I know that tomorrow, in particular, there is a meeting, and what I've been saying, sometimes we say we support people, but we want to do it from afar. Theory. We want to do it from afar. We don't want to go close. And tomorrow, Mr. Thorne is going to be at the George Street Auditorium, right there at the DLP headquarters. It's now open to all the public. You don't have to be a member to go tomorrow evening at 3 o'clock. Tomorrow evening at 3 o'clock, right there, the George Street Auditorium, the DLP headquarters. In fact, there's a church service that is going to be there tomorrow. If somebody knows what time the church service is, they can put it up. I know, there's a church service right there at the George Street Auditorium tomorrow. And then there is the meeting right there at George Street Auditorium at 3 o'clock. And I'm saying to people, show your disgust in your numbers. If you're so concerned about Barbados, because we like to sit and we will talk in our homes. Well, are we that disgusted that we will put on our clothes and go down there and fill out that the George Street Auditorium? Can we do that? Is that something that people will do? Yes. So breakfast at 8 a.m., church service at 9 a.m., and I'm going to everything. Tomorrow, I'm using that day because you know what? You know I'm going to go, Theory? I remember, Lumumba is on here. I remember when I felt to go on the street by myself with the big 6-foot sign. Remember that, Theory? I was by myself. And the sign was so heavy for me. When I looked down the road, who was coming down the road to help me? Lumumba Batson, you see on here. That's a real brother there. My husband and I, we love Lumumba Batson, because of he's real. He's a man like this. He's real. I could say that in front of him and behind his back. And I told him I will never forget that he came and he decided that he wanted to take that sign from me. And I said to him, no, Lumumba, you can't be here because the police says if anybody's here with me, because it's supposed to be a one person march, right? A one-man march. I said, I'm going to get in trouble with the law. So you can't stay. Lumumba said, what? Right? Lumumba said, what? You crazy? I can't leave you here with this sign by yourself. And Lumumba stood with me there, regardless of whether the police would have come or whatever. And I'm saying, I told him today, I said, no, that's the kind of dedication and commitment that is needed if we're going to see this country turn around. Put on your clothes tomorrow. Go down to the auditorium and give Mr. Rob Thorne some energy. Oh, the man did nothing wrong but cross and choose 2 senators. Oh my God. What did he do? He crossed the floor, went back to the DLP, which he was from, and chose 2 senators. He didn't do anything wrong. I'm saying breakfast as 8 o'clock, Kamar is saying. Church service 9 o'clock. 3 o'clock is going to be Mr. Thorne is speaking. Don't tell me you're going to stay home and watch it on the YouTube. What kind of support is that? That's not us. Loyal opposition, we don't do that. That's not how we behave. We coming out. That's how we know. That's how we roll. We gonna support. We have been doing it with the marches, and we're not gonna leave Mr. Thorne down there by himself. He didn't do anybody anything. He has been, since he crossed February, that man has been standing up, Lumumba, we've been sounding the alarm outside about the cybercrime bill, and he's sounding the alarm inside. Come on, man. What else should he be doing for Barbados? Yeah? So I'm asking everybody to come. That's one thing that you can do. Put on your clothes. Right? Whether you don't, I'm not a member of the DLP, and I've voted in so many ways since I've been here. All different things I vote for, parties. Okay? So you don't have to be no DLP because I'm none. I am going to, so come tomorrow, man. Come down tomorrow. Don't stay home. That's not support. That's not support. Come on, let's be real. In a time like this, go and hug Mr. Thorne. Go shake his hand, man. Let the man feel some skin. Lumumba, you were saying something?
Yeah. No, I was just listening.
Okay, I
was
saw
just
your camera.
listening.
Yeah, I saw your camera come on, and I'm seeing people are coming, more people are coming on now that we're ready to end. But listen, folks,
Oh,
you've got to come out tomorrow.
come on,
Right?
come on out
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yes, you're going down Lumumba talks a big up you. Let me find out. You're going down tomorrow?
I can be there. I
Repeat,
will
please.
be there. I say I can
You're
be
going to
there.
be there. Somebody called again. Every time you see why I can't do the show on the phone, my phone rings off the hook, and once they call, then what happens is that it messes with the audio. Yeah, Theory, you coming down tomorrow, or you go ask your grandma?
I should be able to
I
come.
can't hear. I can't hear. I have to. We're gonna
It's
finish soon, but let me go quickly and then come back on. Come back on
okay.
because I can't hear. Once somebody calls, that's it.
Yeah, you was hearing me, Theory?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can hear me?
Okay, yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
It was saying it will come tomorrow. It will come. Should be able to
Yeah, I
come.
see. What time you got? I'll see you there.
Well, I have something to do in the morning, as you know, and then
Yeah,
I will come down and see what's up.
right, right, right. But you know,
But
even though I'm not into really the politics, but I see the brother. I understand the need for an opposition. I
yeah,
understand that quite. Yeah,
it's not the reason I am um agreement of going is because, as I said before, I am 21 years old, and I am if the BLP gets in again. That's about another 5 years. I'll be 26. So what would occur in that period of time, I am not unsure of, and I hope that we can see. But if the other side, with respect to that of the DLP, gets in, what will occur? So I'm interested to find out, being necessarily unbiased, but um, intrigued of what the opposition leader will say. Also, in terms of my personal perspective, we need strong leadership. We need patient leadership, and we need leadership that is righteous, and most importantly, for the people, by the people. So we will see what occurs. And as I said before, I'm holding an unbiased opinion. A lot of persons say, well, you're not going to vote for the DLP because of what's going on. I'm still unbiased about it. I'm just trying to hear both sides, and then you'll see. But that is what I'm doing. You can't come and say, well, I'm going to listen to Mr. Hewitt. I'm not going to go and listen to Mr. Torn. I'm going to sit down and listen to all sides, and then I'll make my decision from there.
right,
Yeah, but good for you, Terry. I know what I know already, and that's good. I know that I personally, as I said before, as an adult and knowing what I know, and at this stage in my life, I really cannot line up behind anything that don't reflect, what I believe in and who I am. But and that's and Terry's position is quite fine, especially if you don't have, as he's saying, if you don't have all the facts, you don't have all the information. It's important to hear everybody. So that's why I come down tomorrow and hear Mr. Thorne tomorrow. All right. And I'm sure
right.
you will hear Mr. Here with another time. Yes. Yes. Go ahead. Anything else before we close out?
No, I just tell the people to come on down, come and see. I'm just there. I want to hear. I want to listen. I'm pretty much as You taught me a lot about how important it is to have an opposition. It's not that I'm in support of any particular party, but it is important that there is an opposition. There's somebody there, because if there's not, I mean, you see what's happening now. So you could imagine what's going to happen if it continue on without an opposition.
Yeah, we need an opposition. We need an opposition, one way or the other. And we could always come on here and talk, but the truth is that, it has to be changed through voting. You know, that is how how it works. It's either because some people say, oh well, I don't believe in I'm not into politics and I'm not into voting, but you go and vote. Well, how is it going to happen? How else is it going to happen? Unless the people that are in decide to change their ways, there's no other way that it is supposed to happen. It is part of what is set up, and this is how it works. So you need political parties. You do. You know, until it's changed, it's what it is. You know. All right. So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Yeah. Okay, guys. Bless you and see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, Sunday, 8 o'clock breakfast, 9 o'clock church service, and then at 3 o'clock, Mr. Thorne speaks. Okay. Bye bye.